Guys, hey, I was doing a video about the days when we were growing up, and I was rudely interrupted by the campaigners. And I promised I would continue this video, guys, because we have to discuss this issue of life. It is good to be reminded, or to be told. We said we are telling people because there are those that grew up in plenty, and they don't know what it means to lack. But guys, then it should be story time. I should tell them stories about how we grew up despite lack. We grew up, guys, in a very tight situation. Our parents never used to have any farm. As I told you, our grandfather's farm was taken away during the colonial days, and he used to have a very big chunk of land. Gosh, I wish he had managed to keep his inheritance, no, his land, because we would have our dad would have inherited from him, and maybe we would have had a place to farm. And you know, for those that used to have a place to farm, the issue of hunger was not there, because you could grow your foods, and when you grow your foods, then you are sure that you feed your family. But if you didn't have a piece of land, then we had to suffer. And guys, that was us. We didn't have a piece of land. We just had a very small piece where our grandfather had acquired a small piece after his big chunk of land was taken. And then our fathers, my father had brothers, and they had to divide amongst themselves, the three of them, that small piece of land that our grandfather had attained. And you know, now that our parents didn't have money to buy another piece of land somewhere, they just brought us up there. And guys, it was not easy, because it was just a small piece, just where the construction, the house fitted, the compound, the house where you have built your house. We used to have a small house. That's where we had our house, and that's where we grew up. But we did not have that extended place that we would go and farm like other families, guys. Hey, so you can imagine, it's like you're staying in the city. Let me tell you an example. It's an example of the city life, because you are waking up from a house. The only difference is that your house in the village is not rented. It is an acquired house that you acquired, maybe from that our dad built, and it was not acquired, but it is a house that our dads built in the small piece of land, and before they married our moms. And then when they got married, we found them with that small house. It was kinda renovated later as we were growing up, and renovated, and it was made of thatched grass. The roof was grass. It was grass thatched, and on the sides it was made of mud, and they used to smear mud on the sides and make those houses that are mud houses, you know them. That's where we grew up, and it was just a big, not very big, but just a size that fitted our parents' bed, and then a small kitchen by the corner there, and then a small place where we used to lay our small sacks that we used to sleep on. We used to lie on sacks. We could not afford mattresses, so our moms used to buy those sisal sacks, that are made of sisal, because they are warmer than they would not slide on the ground. And you know, the ground used to be just ground, that's soil, just soil. So they would place those mats, sisal bags on the floor for us, about two, so that we are not pressed badly at night by the ground, and they would just get as a cover. So all we used to do is to lay on that sisal bag spread on the ground. And because I told you guys we were 7, so you know, our mothers used to make sure that they spread about how many? About five pieces, and then because you did not necessarily need to lie on a whole piece alone. You had to squeeze and keep yourselves warm, and we could now, after they spread that, we could now lie on those sacks, and then they cover us with some blankets. I don't know where they had gotten some old torn blankets from, and that is what we used to cover ourselves with. And guys, before morning, you are waking up feeling pain on your back. This is because you have been lying on the hard ground, you know, the soil. You've been lying on the whole night, and turning was a problem because you would turn, and then your sister would turn, and your other brother would turn, because you know you disturb them as you turn, because you're tired on the back and you want to stretch and then lie on this other side. And we could ask when morning will come, guys. This is because it was very hard. The ground is very hard when you lie on it for 6, 7 hours, 8 hours. It's very hard. But we used to sleep and wake up in the morning, and when you wake up, you stretch yourself like this because you are so tired. Can you imagine? You are so tired after sleeping. You are so tired. Then you hold your back. Oh, then after that, you go wash your face and cut a piece of wood on the fence, from the fence, and chew it on one end, and then use it to brush your teeth, and then run to school. No, take your black tea without milk, because you could not afford milk, and run to school just like that. And you know what, guys? You run to school without any breakfast. You spend the whole day in school, because over lunch hour, I told you guys in the other video, you used to chew some sugar cane. And then after that, you could not even understand much in school because of hunger. Then after 4:20, I remember it used to be 4:20, is when we could run home. We used to run when the bell rang. We could run home, and so that we get home fast and see what our moms had cooked. And we would get there and find that they have cooked some matoke. Most of the times they used to make some matoke, because matoke used to be there in the village, and plenty of it. So our moms used to, because we did not have a farm, they used to source matoke from the neighbors, and most of the times they would just get the onion and some cooking fat, very little, some salt, and then they pour the matoke there after peeling, you know, there, and then it boils, it cooks, and then that is what we would go and eat for supper. Remember, the following morning we'll wake up and go to school with no breakfast, spend the whole day without any lunch. If you are lucky, you could chew a piece of sugar cane. If not, you spend the whole day like that. Then in the evening at 4:20, you rush home, and after that you go and prepare supper. And if your mom has not prepared, you go and prepare. And then after that, the story continued just like that. And we grew up. Isn't God gracious that we grew up? I hear when we were growing up, you know, so some of these stories were told by your mom. When we were growing up, there used to be issues of kwashiorkor. Diseases like kwashiorkor used to attack us, and mom used to tell us that we used to have those very protruded stomachs, because, you know, we are not eating a balanced diet. And our moms used to all the time take us for deworming in hospitals. Guys, so that our stomachs come back to normal. So guys, whoa, that's the story of our lives when we were growing up. But we did grow up. Yes, we grew up by the grace of God. And today, when I eat to the full, when I fill my stomach, I just thank God. And I remember those days that hunger used to be the order of the day. We used to go hungry every other time, and there was nothing we could do about it. And let me tell you, it was not only us. There were other children in the village that used to suffer this, because food was only very available for those families that used to be well-to-do, and well-to-do meant a chunk of land. And in fact, when we grew big, and our talks of marriage would be discussed when we are there by our grandmothers and mothers, you'd hear them discuss with our mothers and say, "Hey, please don't you ever try to get married in that family where there's no land. You should look for a boyfriend where in that family, there, where there is a big chunk of land," because land used to be the determinant factor to survival. If you made a mistake and got married in a family that there's no land, then you would live poor forever, because where would you get food from? Where would you get you? And if you ever got married to a family where there's a big chunk of land, the thing is, you would really cultivate that shamba, you would really cultivate that farm, and make all efforts to cultivate, because you had to, in order to make a living, in order to feed your family. That is if you had one. So guys, story of my life, that's how we grew up. How did you grow up? Please subscribe to this channel by going to YouTube and searching Never Age TV and hitting the subscribe button. And guys, thank you for those that have subscribed. Thank you for those that are going to subscribe after this video, because they will not go to another video without subscribing. It is important to subscribe so that we grow the channel. Thank you very much. I love you. We'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.